Gratitude opens the door to life. Good morning, dear one. As I wake this morning, before I even open my eyes, I place my hand over my heart and whisper softly, "Thank you. I don't need everything to be perfect. I don't need to have all the answers. In this moment, I only need a little willingness. A willingness to begin this new day in love. Gratitude is my doorway into peace, into joy, into abundance. It is my bridge back to the present moment, and the present moment is where all my power lives. There was a time when I didn't know this. I would wake up already, overwhelmed my mind, racing, already planning, already doubting, already judging. But I've learned that the thoughts I choose in the first few moments of my day create the emotional tone for everything that follows. Now, I begin with gratitude. It shifts the atmosphere within me, and when I shift inside, everything outside begins to respond. Gratitude doesn't mean I deny my pain or pretend everything is perfect. It means I choose to notice what's good. I choose to bless what's here. I choose to soften into compassion, especially toward myself. I used to think change would come through effort or criticism, but life taught me something softer and truer. When I stopped judging myself, my world began to change. Not all at once, and not without bumps, but with a gentleness I had never known before. Today, I live in the truth that life loves me, and the more I love life back, the more it opens its arms to support me. That support is everywhere, in the sun streaming through the window, in the breath that fills my lungs, in the simple fact that I get to begin again. I remind myself now, every thought I think shapes the day ahead. Every act of appreciation strengthens my connection to the good that surrounds me. Every word of kindness, even the ones I speak silently to myself, is a step toward healing. This essay is not about perfection. It's not about pretending. It's about remembering who we really are. It's about returning again and again to love, to presence, and to the quiet power of thank you. So let's begin this day the way we wish to live it open, soft, trusting, and full of grace. Take a slow breath with me now. Place your hand gently over your heart. Whisper this truth aloud. I am grateful for this new day. Feel how your chest rises with breath. Feel how your body softens. That's gratitude, beginning its quiet work. Let me walk with you now, dear one, through the morning truths that changed my life. There was a time when I didn't even realize how critical I had become. I judged other people, their choices, their paths, their expressions, not because I was cruel, but because I was hurting. The truth is, the harsh thoughts I directed outward were only echoes of the cruel inner voice I lived with every day. When I criticized others, it was a mirror of how I was speaking to myself. I would notice every flaw, every mistake, every shortcoming, and in doing so, I was affirming that I wasn't enough. Self-righteousness, I now understand, is just pain in disguise. It's a shield we use when we feel unsafe, unworthy, or unseen. I carried that shield for years, believing it made me strong, but all it ever did was make me feel separate from others and from my own heart. Criticism doesn't make us better. It doesn't lead to healing. It keeps us stuck in the illusion that something is wrong with us, with others, with life itself. One morning, I noticed how drained I felt after a string of judgmental thoughts, all silent but loud in my energy. I realized I had started my day by looking for things to be unhappy about. And of course, the more I looked, the more I found. The mind, when trained by fear, becomes a relentless critic. But the mind, when invited to love, becomes a powerful creator of peace. That was the day I chose a new way. I decided I no longer wanted to use my thoughts to tear myself or others down. I wanted to use my thoughts to build, to uplift, to bless. Now, when I notice the old patterns arising, the urge to criticize or compare, I pause, I breathe, I remember, this is not who I truly am. I am not a vessel for fear. I am a channel for love. Instead of saying, "What's wrong with them?" I ask, "What needs love in me right now?" Instead of shaming myself for past choices, I whisper, "Thank you for surviving. Thank you for trying. Let's do better today." Criticism keeps us in the past. Compassion opens us to the future. When I release judgment, my whole body relaxes. My heart opens. My day softens. And from that space, miracles begin to unfold. I release all criticism. I choose kind and loving thoughts. I see the world with eyes of compassion. My inner voice speaks to me with patience and grace. There was a time in my life when I thought it was my job to help everyone, to fix, to guide, to make things better for others. I believed that if I could just say the right words, offer the right advice, or do enough for them, everything would fall into place. But in truth, what I was really doing was trying to control, not out of malice, but out of fear. Fear that people I loved would suffer. Fear that they'd make the wrong choices. Fear that if I let go, something would fall apart. I was so busy managing other people's lives, I forgot to live my own. Eventually, I came to understand a deeper truth. Everyone has their own inner guidance. Every soul is on a journey that is sacred and perfectly timed. And the more I try to steer someone else's path, the more I delay my own healing. I remember one morning feeling exhausted by trying to help someone who didn't want to be helped. My heart was heavy and my body felt tense. And then A soft voice within whispered, "You are not their savior. You are your own." That moment changed me. I placed my hand on my heart and said, "I release them with love." Choosing compassion over control doesn't mean I stop caring. It means I begin trusting. I trust that others have access to the same universal wisdom I do. I trust that they are being guided, even when I don't understand the timing. I trust that love can hold them when I let go. It is not my job to carry someone else's lessons. It is not my job to convince, convert, or correct. It is my job to love and then return to myself. Now, when I notice the old impulse to fix, I pause, I breathe, I remind myself everyone walks their path in perfect rhythm. I have enough to do healing my own life, and when I give myself the gift of freedom, I naturally give that gift to others. Freedom to be, freedom to learn, freedom to evolve at their own pace. I can be supportive without taking over. I can be present without needing to control. And I can love someone deeply while still releasing them to their highest good. I lovingly release others. I trust the divine guidance within every person. I give myself the freedom to create my own path. It is safe to let go. There was a time when the mere thought of my childhood stirred up waves of pain, confusion, and resentment. I would replay old memories, looking for answers, aching for understanding, wondering why certain things happened the way they did. For years I carried those stories like stones in my heart, believing I had to hold on to the hurt to make it valid. But healing came when I saw something new, not with my eyes, but with my heart. One morning during my healing journey, I closed my eyes and pictured my parents not as the adults who had disappointed me, but as tiny, vulnerable babies. I imagined them wrapped in soft blankets, eyes wide with wonder, hearts open and unguarded, needing only to be loved and kept safe. And in that moment, I realized they too were once innocent. They too had been shaped by wounds, expectations, and fears not of their choosing. Their pain didn't begin with me, and it didn't end with them. That shift in perception didn't erase what happened. It didn't excuse behavior that was hurtful or neglectful, but it opened a space for something far more powerful than blame. It opened the door to forgiveness. I began to understand that my parents acted from the tools they had, and often those tools were broken. Their silence, their anger, their distance, those were echoes of their own unmet needs. And when I finally saw them not as villains, but as wounded children doing the best they could, my heart softened. I whispered the words that began my liberation. I forgive you, and I set us all free. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending the past was okay. It means no longer letting the pain define me. It means releasing myself from the prison of resentment so I can walk freely into the life I now choose to create. I have cried for the little child I once was. I have grieved the love I didn't receive, and I have offered love now to the one who needed it most, myself. And today, I choose to let the past be a teacher, not a sentence. I choose to bless the souls who shaped my path. I choose to be the love I longed for. I choose compassion, because when I forgive, I don't lose anything. I gain everything. I forgive my parents and set us all free. I see them now with eyes of compassion. I release blame and return to peace. I now choose compassion. There was a time when I walked through my house without noticing it. I would rush from room to room, focused only on the next task, blind to the energy I was living in. But over time, as I began to shift my thoughts and practice self-love, I realized something profound. My home was mirroring my inner life. What we surround ourselves with speaks to how we feel inside. Is the space peaceful? Is it loving? Is it a place where joy can breathe? One morning, I paused at the doorway and placed my hand on the wall, whispering softly, "Thank you for sheltering me." That simple moment awakened something in me. I saw that my home wasn't just four walls. It was a living reflection of my consciousness. So I began to bless it. I blessed the floor that supported my every step. I blessed the kitchen where nourishment began. I blessed the couch where I rested, the windows that let the sun pour in. Even the bathroom became a space of self-care and renewal. Yes, I cleaned out the garage. Yes, I tidied the drawers. But more importantly, I did it with love. I learned to create beauty not for perfection, but for peace. I placed fresh flowers in the entryway, not for guests, but for myself. I lit candles not to impress, but to comfort. I spoke words of gratitude aloud as I made the bed, knowing that gratitude charges the very air I breathe. When we fill our home with intention, it responds with warmth. It holds us in safety. It comforts us when we are tired. It becomes a sacred container for our healing. And if my home reflects me, then I choose love. I choose joy. I choose harmony. You don't need a mansion. You don't need expensive decor. What you need is presence, the willingness to bless what you already have. Because love, when placed in any space, transforms it. My home is a peaceful haven. I fill every corner with love. My environment supports my healing. I bless my space with gratitude and care. There was a time when I believed abundance belonged to someone else. I watched others thrive and thought, they must know something I don't. I thought wealth came from working harder, doing more, or being lucky. But as I deepened into self-awareness, something beautiful revealed itself. Prosperity begins within. It is not measured by the balance in my account, but by the balance in my heart. When I believed I wasn't enough, life echoed that belief back to me, not as punishment, but as proof of my consciousness. I would chase money, affection, opportunities, and wonder why I still felt empty. The answer wasn't out there. It was in here. True abundance flows from openness, not striving. When I stopped trying to prove my worth, the flow began. When I chose thoughts of deserving, life responded. Scarcity is not about money. It's about the belief that we must earn love, that we must be perfect before we receive. But the truth is, we are worthy right now. I began to repeat Louise's truth. The ocean of life is lavish with abundance, and I imagined myself standing on the shore with open arms, no longer clinging, no longer bracing, but receiving. I looked around and saw abundance everywhere in the air, in the sunlight, in the kindness of strangers, in the quiet space between one breath and the next. I affirmed daily, my good comes from every direction, and it did not always as I expected, but always exactly as I needed. Even the moments of loneliness were teachings. I saw that loneliness wasn't a lack of people, it was a lack of openness. So I opened, I softened, I said yes. Now I know abundance is not something to chase. It is something to allow. It is the natural state of a heart that knows it is worthy. It arrives in smiles, in ideas, in connections, in inspiration, in time, in miracles. So today, I no longer ask if I will be supported. I affirm that I already am. The universe is generous. Life is kind. My only job is to receive. I am open and receptive to all good. My good comes from every direction. I release fear and allow abundance to flow. I deserve to prosper. I trust that life provides for me in beautiful ways. There was a moment in my life when I truly realized, that life was not happening to me, but through me. Everything I saw around me, every interaction, every joy, every challenge was reflecting something I believed inside. This was both humbling and empowering. I had spent years wondering why certain patterns kept repeating. Why did I keep meeting the same kind of people? Why did situations play out with the same disappointments? And then it became clear. Life was saying yes to my inner script. It was not judging me. It was not punishing me. It was simply echoing my thoughts, my assumptions, my beliefs. The universe is like a mirror. It can only reflect what is placed before it. And so, I began to place something new. I chose to feed my mind with thoughts of peace, worthiness, and joy. At first it felt unfamiliar, but then something beautiful began to happen. The world around me softened. People responded differently. Opportunities flowed. My body relaxed. My life shifted, not because I changed the world, but because I changed the way I thought about the world. Now, I understand that if I want love, I must think loving thoughts. If I want peace, I must let go of fearful thoughts. If I want abundance, I must think thoughts of deservability. Every thought I think is creating my future. There is no such thing as a neutral thought. Each one is a seed. When I plant seeds of fear, I grow more fear. But when I plant seeds of love and compassion, life becomes a beautiful garden. Even when challenges arise now, I pause and ask, what within me is asking to be seen? What belief is life reflecting back so I can choose again? And from that awareness, I take back my power. I choose again. I forgive again. I love again. And the mirror reflects that love right back. Life mirrors my loving thoughts. I am in harmony with the flow of life. Every experience is an opportunity to grow and evolve. My thoughts are creative, and I choose only those that support me. All is well in my world. There was a time when I woke up dreading the day ahead. I had jobs that drained me, routines that left me uninspired, and I felt stuck, unsure of what was next, yet afraid to change. But slowly, through the practice of gratitude and intention, I began to shift my perspective. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is this: work is an extension of self-love. When we bless our work, no matter where we are, we begin to unlock new doors of fulfillment. I started by blessing every job I had, even the ones I outgrew or wanted to leave. I would say, thank you. This job has supported me. I bless it with love, and I now open the way for something even better. That simple act of release softened resistance and made space for something new to arrive. I also learned that purpose doesn't have to be loud or grand. It can be quiet, simple, and still meaningful. Purpose is not about the title or paycheck. It's about how aligned I feel with my heart while I do it. The more I affirmed, I do what I love, and I love what I do, the more I attracted opportunities that reflected that energy. It didn't happen overnight, but with each step, life responded. And when I felt uncertain or restless, I reminded myself, when I am ready, life moves me forward. Divine timing is always at work, orchestrating connections and pathways we can't yet see. Now, I welcome each day with an open heart, knowing that I bring value wherever I go. Whether I'm working from home, creating something new, caring for others, or simply tending to my daily responsibilities, my energy is the gift I give the world. So, if you're in a place of transition or desire something more, know this: the work that fulfills you is already seeking you too. Bless where you are. Trust the process. Say yes to what lights you up, and life will meet you there. I do what I love, and I love what I do. My work is a joyful expression of my talents. Life supports me in every possible way. New opportunities flow to me with ease. I am open to fulfilling, prosperous, and joyful work. There was a time when I believed that success had to be earned through struggle. I believed that prosperity was reserved for a lucky few, and that somehow I had missed the boat. But life gently showed me a deeper truth. Abundance is not a reward, it is a birthright. I used to say things like, I'm on a fixed income, or I can't afford that. I didn't realize that those were not just statements, they were affirmations. They were little locks I placed on the flow of prosperity. And yet, when I became willing to open my mind, something beautiful happened. Life responded. I started to say, I am an unlimited being. At first, it felt strange, but with time, repetition, and a willingness to believe something new, my outer world began to change. I realized that prosperity is not only about money, it's about feeling supported, guided, inspired, and yes, also materially provided for. I began to receive in ways I never expected. A refund here, a discount there, an unexpected gift, a friend paying for lunch, opportunities showing up at my doorstep. It became clear. The universe is abundant and it loves to surprise us. But I had to open my hands, my heart, and my mind to receive it. Now, I remind myself often, good comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. There is no limit to how life can support me when I am open to receiving. I no longer measure my prosperity by what is in the bank. I measure it by how deeply I trust that life wants to bless me. I know I am worthy of joy, success, peace, and wealth, and so are you. Let us no longer shrink our dreams to fit our current conditions. Instead, let's expand our beliefs to match the abundance already waiting for us. Abundance is not a future event. It is a present energy we allow. I am an unlimited being, receiving from unlimited sources. Prosperity flows to me with ease and joy. I deserve the best, and I accept it now. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected channels. Life is rich, and I am richly blessed. There was a time in my life when I didn't fully understand what it meant to live honestly. I thought honesty was simply about telling the truth to others. But life, with its deep wisdom, revealed a more powerful version of honesty, spiritual honesty, the kind that begins with how I speak to myself. Spiritual honesty is not about perfection or morality. It is about alignment. It is about living in a way that honors my soul. When I am honest with myself, my thoughts, my choices, and my energy flow in harmony. When I am dishonest, when I pretend, perform, or please just to be accepted, something inside feels off. That feeling is not judgment, it's guidance. I began to notice that every time I took Whether it was someone's time, energy, or emotional labor, I felt a sense of loss somewhere else in my life. But every time I gave from the heart with sincerity and love, life returned it to me, multiplied. Honesty is energy. Every act of taking or giving sets a vibration in motion. When I steal even something as subtle as attention I haven't earned, or love I demand, without giving, life reflects that imbalance. But when I live generously, when I share authentically, when I honor my word and my energy, abundance returns like a faithful friend. I've learned that the most sacred honesty is admitting what I truly want, what I truly feel, and what I truly deserve. And from this place of inner alignment, everything good begins to flow more easily. Let me also say this clearly. We've all made mistakes. We've all taken shortcuts. We've all spoken untruths or withheld love. But we are not here to punish ourselves for the past. We are here to return to truth again and again with kindness. So now I begin each day asking myself, what would honesty look like today? And I let that question guide me back into my heart. I choose honesty on all levels, with myself, with others, and with life. I release the need to hide or pretend. I am safe to be my true self. I give love freely, and love returns to me multiplied. Every honest act aligns me with joy, peace, and abundance. There was a time when I didn't realize how deeply my environment reflected the way I felt about myself. The condition of my home, the car I drove, the clothes I wore. They weren't just random choices. They were mirrors, mirrors of my inner dialogue, mirrors of how much I believed I deserved. When I was critical of myself, I noticed I became critical of my home. I neglected the little things. I overlooked beauty. I dismissed the idea that I was worthy of nice things or even simple order. But as I began to change my inner conversation, as I started saying, I love and approve of myself, something amazing happened. My surroundings began to shift. Instead of seeing flaws, I started seeing possibilities. I blessed my home, even before it looked the way I dreamed it would. I looked at my clothes with kindness, appreciating how they'd supported me. I began to dress not for approval, but with intention, as an act of love for the woman I was becoming. You see, loving what I already had opened the door to more. Gratitude, as always, became the key. This isn't about extravagance. This is about alignment. When I affirm my self-worth, I naturally desire beauty, peace, and comfort, not to impress, but to express who I truly am. Life responds to that vibration. New opportunities arise. Unexpected gifts appear. Even the energy in the room begins to change. And so I started treating my surroundings the way I now treat myself, with tenderness, appreciation, and joy. I bless the walls that shelter me. I honor the table that holds my meals. I thank the mirror that reflects not flaws, but a living, evolving soul. Because when my home is loving, it teaches me to be loving. And when my appearance feels good to me, it reinforces that I matter. I deserve beauty and comfort. I bless my home and all that surrounds me. My space reflects the love I give to myself. Everything I see supports and uplifts me. I live in a world that reflects my inner joy. For much of my life, I confused the search for love with the act of self-abandonment. I gave so much of myself away thinking that if I could just give more, do more, prove more, someone would finally stay, would finally love me. But what I didn't realize then was this. When I didn't believe I was worthy of love, I attracted people who confirmed it. I chased affection like a starving heart. I tolerated things that wounded me. I accepted crumbs and convinced myself it was a feast. Why? Because deep down, I thought I had to earn love. I thought I had to fix others to be seen. I was afraid to be alone, and that fear taught me to settle. But healing began the moment I stopped chasing others and turned inward with compassion. I looked at the frightened child within me, the one who had learned that love was conditional, inconsistent, or unavailable. And I said to her, "You don't have to prove anything. You are already lovable." That was the beginning of everything. Now, I know this truth. Real love doesn't require shrinking, proving, or overgiving. It begins with choosing myself every day, gently, lovingly. When I started honoring my worth, my relationships shifted. Some people fell away, some deepened, and new connections came into my life, ones built on respect, ease, and mutual care. If you've ever felt stuck in a cycle of needing others to validate you, I invite you to pause and write a list not just of what you want in a relationship, but of what you are ready to give yourself. If you want honesty, give it to yourself first. If you want affection, begin by touching your heart each morning and saying, "I love you." If you want support, start by supporting your dreams and boundaries. You are not too much. You are enough. You do not need to twist yourself into knots to be loved. Love that costs your peace is not love. It is fear disguised. Your inner child is still listening. Let her hear your new truth. Open your arms wide and say, "I am willing to let the love in." Let this be your daily practice, not as a plea, but as a declaration. I am worthy of healthy, loving relationships. I am safe to love and be loved. The more I love myself, the more love surrounds me. I attract people who honor and uplift me. I choose relationships that reflect the love I give to myself, close with empowerment, joy, and gratitude. Integrate all themes. As I sit with myself now after speaking my gratitude, after forgiving what no longer serves me, After choosing kindness over criticism and love over fear, I feel the quiet power of my own transformation. I didn't get here overnight. This has been a journey from judgment to compassion, from resentment to forgiveness, from scarcity to abundance, and most importantly, from doubt to self-worth. Each time I woke up and said thank you, something inside me softened. Each time I chose to bless instead of criticize, my life opened a little more. Each time I forgave myself, I made space for more joy. It's amazing how life responds when we speak to ourselves with love. It's as if the universe has just been waiting for us to say, I am willing to change, willing to release, willing to receive. And here's what I know now. My life responds to my thoughts, and today I choose gratitude. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It's a vibration that lifts us. It's a spiritual posture. It opens the doors we once thought were closed. It reminds us that the present moment is already full of miracles, of peace, of possibility. If you do one thing today, let it be this. Practice gratitude, not as a duty, but as a gift to your own heart. Even one thankful thought can shift your entire day. And if you feel ready to go deeper, try waking up with gratitude for 21 mornings in a row. Let it become your new ritual. Just a few moments of appreciation, whispered softly to yourself, can reshape everything. Here is your final affirmation sequence. Speak it aloud or in your heart, again and again, until it becomes your truth. I am grateful. I am open. I am deserving. I am loved. All is well in my world. Take a deep breath and feel how true that is. Let those words settle into every cell of your being. Dear one, walk gently into this day. Let gratitude open every door. Let love fill every moment. Life loves you today and always.